Hello everyone, welcome back for some more thrift store finds. Haven't done as many of these lately, so I get very excited when I have a morning that's good enough to come on here and share with you guys. I went to a big 50% off sale for Saturday, which turned out to be pretty great. And then before then, a couple things that I found throughout the week before we got to this point. One was the set of 3 Flintstones Kids glasses from Pizza Hut. There were so many good things from Pizza Hut back in the day. I would honestly have one of those old lights that they have, the kind of that reddish chandelier. I would totally have one of those. But the set of 3, and miraculously, this is a place that normally, I still have to get the stickers off because they're on the inside and they're kind of hard to get off. This kind of place that would normally list these individually, which would kind of defeat the cost-benefit ratio, but they actually sold them as a set of 3, which was unusual. Made it a fantastic deal. So those are really cool. Great find. And as well at that same place, a couple of book finds is Tamara Pierce. A couple of books from that collection in pristine condition. I don't think these were ever read. They're straight off the presses, like they sat on a shelf. One video game find, we have Dragon Ball Xenoverse. One that I have never played. I never played this one. There's so many Dragon Ball games. Most of the ones I played were older for the 360. And one Loot Crate exclusive from the newer Battlestar Galactica, the early 2000s series. We have Razor the Cylon Raider. So this was kind of a cool find. Box is a little dented, but otherwise it's still sealed. So that was definitely an interesting find. Then today was the real good stuff. Couple of books and then an unbelievable number of good quality Blu-rays, which are normal for this location. One hardcover, we have The Federalist, the Hamilton Madison J collection in here. Nice, pristine, older copy. It was a nice one to grab. And then we have Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Why this and the Abraham Lincoln vampire killer, whatever, some weird collaborations I don't get, but this will be good for Amanda to put up on her Pango. That's the kind of audience that will like that. And this one isn't one I'm actually gonna have to read through to see if it is one that I want to keep or goes in the store. We'll see after I read it if it's good enough or it'll go in the store. But we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Tales of the Slayer Volume 2, which is a short story collection. So those can be hit or miss. You never know. Sometimes they're surprisingly good, a few hidden gems in these short stories, but other times they're worth one read and then you move on. Kind of a light summer reading. So I haven't read that before, so I'll check that out. And this was one of the first things I found and led to the big thing that I found today. Now on DVD, we found the History Channel series Barbarians 2. I didn't know they did a second one of these, but a documentary series from the History Channel. A sealed, which is why I got it, was good for the store. Concert for George Harrison. And this is a multi-disc set, and being sealed, that was pretty good. And all half price was fantastic because they actually didn't overprice things to begin with, which is the pattern. I was actually there earlier in the week where I found some of the other stuff, like the Battlestar Galactica, the Cylon, and I was talking to another guy I see all the time, and frequently he's like, yeah, come Saturday, I don't think I'm going to show up, because they would often inflate the prices first, and then the 50% brings it down to normal. It was actually pretty normal, which was great today. Sealed copy of the Futurama movie, Bender's Game, which is an early Blu-ray. I love a lot of these when they're still sealed. They might have this little sticker, very nostalgic for me, indicating that it is compatible with your PlayStation 3. As PlayStation 3 tried to repeat the success of the PS2 with the Blu-ray drive versus the DVD. Then we have the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. I never saw the second one. I saw the first one. It was an interesting interpretation, a reimagining of that, trying to make it its own, which is what you would want to do when you do a remake, but I don't know, it just wasn't for me overall. And then we have a Blu-ray collection of the Pokemon movies, the first movie, 2000, and the movie 3. I remember the first movie, that was sort of the tail end of my generation's fascination with Pokemon, getting a little bit too old, and then the next two I remember seeing because my brother was then old enough to be into them. He was pretty young. So a 3-movie collection. And then we get to some cool DVD and cool Blu-ray sets and some more DVD things. We have the collector's edition from Scream Factory of John Carpenter's They Live. So not often that you find good collector's editions of stuff at this place. It's normally very generic DVDs. Then we have the Arrow Video DVD Blu-ray special edition of Dark Water. A good Japanese horror movie. Not normally my type of thing, but this was actually one that I enjoyed. I remember seeing this, and I also saw the American remake in theaters, and it was one of those cases where it wasn't a bad movie, but in comparison it didn't really hold up. But yeah, the Arrow Video Collector's Edition, and this was $1.50. Holy cow, it's great. All of these Criterions were all $1.50 as well. We have The Prince of Tides, and we have by Christopher Nolan, Following a Film. This one actually don't know anything about. I was reading the back, that sounds curious, but it even includes the essay booklet and everything. So $1.50 for Criterion Blu-rays. Another Japanese film, we have Afterlife. On Blu-ray. And a great PBS set. I found this a handful of times. I own this myself, and it's really worth rewatching. The PBS is a Ken Burns, anything PBS Ken Burns I usually like. The Roosevelts, An Intimate History, and it is a massive collection. It's a 7-disc set going through the history of the Roosevelts. Just a really good program if you're interested in history or history of those eras or American history. Definitely one to watch. I enjoy this set a lot, so it's a couple times that I found that for resale. And then one of these Mill Creek packs, an older one because it has the old Mill Creek label. I love my Mill Creek. It's an 11-disc set, 44 movie collection. It is spaghetti westerns. Huge collection. I know these get a bad rap frequently, but a giant, this set, this size, a couple of bucks, 44 movies, and there are always some great movies in there. Every one of these sets that I pick up, there's a handful of movies that have Criterion counterparts. Sure, they might be inferior versions, especially visually, they might not be cleaned up or anything, but you just can't beat that huge set of movies, and these are always great for finding hidden gems, quote unquote, as well, movies you've just never heard of, and occasionally find one that it's like, wow, actually, you kind of like this. So these are always cool to pick up. This one, I'm not a big spaghetti western fan, but I'll probably watch a couple, and that'll definitely be for the store, just out of fun. And then the big thing today, which this one's for me. This unbelievably beautiful statue. I'll open the side here. That is gorgeous. I'm pretty sure this will be staying in the packaging for a little while till I have a good display spot with my big framed picture that I have. I don't know if you've seen that earlier on my channel. So this is one definitely for the future display once we make our move here. But yeah, that was this was worth it. And half price day, the fact that it included everything, I was like, oh, thank goodness, because normally I would have passed it on full price no matter how cool it is because they charge way too much. But half price day, it was totally worth it. So big fan. So this was the thing that made my whole morning. But aside from that, even just that wonderful thing for me, I couldn't believe the number of really good quality Blu-rays, and most of them were $1.50, which I wasn't expecting this good of a day. I just kind of went, maybe it'll be good, maybe I'll check it out, but surprising. So definitely a great find, worth coming up here talking to you guys about it. I hope you have a great weekend. If you go out to yard sales and stuff, it's still yard sale season. Or if you're out thrifting, hope you find great stuff, and I'll see you around. Make sure you check out those Xena videos. I finished uploading all of the unboxings of those really cool Xena VHS box sets.